What if I told you a Mercedes-Benz once flipped at just 37 miles per hour, or that a Toyota RAV4 nearly caused a serious accident during testing? The Moose test reveals which cars can actually protect you in a sudden emergency, and which ones might put your life at risk. We examine the results of 14 vehicles that failed this critical safety test in dramatic fashion, and honestly, the findings might surprise you. Before we get into the list, let's understand why the Moose test matters. Colliding with a moose can be extremely dangerous. Because of its massive size and height, the animal's body often crashes directly into the windshield and roof area, which can be deadly for passengers. The Moose test recreates a sudden emergency maneuver where a driver must quickly swerve around an obstacle, like a moose, a child, or another vehicle, and then safely return to their lane without losing control. When a car fails this test, it shows how risky it could be in a real-life emergency. Starting at number 14 is the 2022 Volvo C40 twin-motor. This vehicle was a surprising disappointment in the Moose test. It struggled at speeds between 53 and 56 miles per hour, which is unexpected from a brand famous for its safety reputation. Even with sticky Pirelli P0 tires and a dual motor system, the car suffered heavy understeer and simply refused to turn sharply enough, sliding wide past the cones. Test drivers described it as if the vehicle was politely refusing to cooperate. For an expensive electric crossover carrying Volvo's safety legacy, this result was both embarrassing and concerning. At number 13, the 2023 Kia Sportage plug-in hybrid delivered one of the most chaotic performances ever recorded in the Moose test. On its first run at 30 miles per hour, the SUV completely lost its line, hitting cones across the entire course. By the end of the maneuver, its rear bounced into a large number of cones like a pinball machine out of control. The issue wasn't stability, it was accuracy and control. Although the Sportage remained upright, it repeatedly failed to stay within the course boundaries regardless of the driver's efforts. Even at slower speeds, severe understeer appeared halfway through the maneuver, knocking over cones as the driver tried to regain control. The best result it managed was 27 miles per hour, and even that run looked messy. Coming in at number 12 is the 2007 Ford Ranger. This older pickup struggled to remain stable even below 27 miles per hour, showing just how much vehicle safety technology has improved over time. Despite using a torsion bar front suspension designed to balance loads and improve stability, the Ranger failed the handling test with ease. It veered wide, knocked cones aside like bowling pins, and demonstrated weak control during rapid direction changes. In a real emergency, like avoiding an animal or a reckless driver, this slow and sloppy response could easily send the truck into a ditch or a collision. Ironically, a truck designed for tough jobs and rough terrain lacked the quick reflexes needed to avoid unexpected hazards. At number 11, the 2019 Jeep Wrangler delivered a predictable but still worrying performance. With its traditional ladder frame, solid axles, and high ground clearance, the Wrangler is built primarily for off-road adventures rather than precise road handling. Entering the course at 29 miles per hour, it struggled to stay on line, clipping cones and wobbling heavily while trying to recover. The aggressive off-road tires offered little grip on asphalt, and the slow steering response meant the vehicle reacted too late to sudden inputs. Testers repeatedly reduced the speed, and even at 26 miles per hour, the Wrangler barely completed the maneuver. Its short wheelbase and tall stance clearly favor off-road capability over emergency road handling. Number 10 goes to the 2018 Nissan Kicks, which produced one of the most frightening Moose test results ever captured. During the test, the compact crossover nearly rolled over at only 25 miles per hour. Footage showed the vehicle leaning so dramatically, it looked moments away from tipping completely. The driver's expression made it clear the danger wasn't from speed, but from the extreme body roll, as the car leaned like a sailboat in heavy waves. However, there was an important twist. Not every version of the Kicks is equipped the same way. In some markets, including Mexico, certain models were sold without an electronic stability program. That was the version used in the test. Without ESP, the vehicle struggled desperately to remain upright. When ESP was present, however, the car completed the maneuver successfully, showing how critical that system can be for safety. If you're enjoying the video so far, Don't forget to like and subscribe. At number 9, the 2016 Toyota Hilux showed that toughness doesn't always mean stability. Known worldwide for its rugged reliability, the 8th-generation Hilux was expected to handle the test confidently. Instead, Swedish testers discovered some pretty serious instability. At only 23 miles per hour, the pickup swerved dramatically and nearly rolled over, while competing vehicles handled the same maneuver at higher speeds without trouble. Even though electronic stability control was included as standard equipment, something was clearly off. The tires provided strong grip, but the high center of gravity caused excessive body lean, and without a rollover prevention system, the inner wheel lifted high into the air, signaling a potential rollover. Number 8, the 2015 Ford Focus, also showed troubling behavior during emergency maneuvers. The popular compact car struggled with both stability and control when rapid steering inputs were required. Body movement was poorly controlled, and the electronic systems didn't respond effectively during sudden lane changes. Considering that millions of families rely on the Focus for daily transportation, its inability to stay composed in emergency situations raised some serious concerns. The combination of suspension tuning and tire performance simply wasn't adequate for maintaining stability during the rapid swerve and recovery sequence. In real-world emergencies where drivers must react instantly, this weakness could lead to dangerous outcomes. At number 7, the 2014 Porsche Macan delivered one of the biggest surprises. A luxury SUV from Porsche failing the Moose test is something few people would expect, yet the Macan's results were extremely poor. Instead of merely struggling, the vehicle repeatedly slid off course, a scenario that could easily send it off the road or into oncoming traffic. Testers repeated the test several times and even removed extra weight, but every attempt ended the same way. The root cause appeared to be a malfunction in the active rollover protection system. When the system sensed potential oversteer or rollover risk, it briefly applied braking to the outer front wheel. Unfortunately, the system's calibration was flawed and often worsened the situation. For a premium SUV carrying the Porsche badge, this performance was deeply embarrassing and potentially dangerous. Number 6 is the 2019 Mercedes-Benz CLA. Its performance in the Moose test was a clear example of poor emergency handling. The compact luxury sedan struggled badly at speeds around 29 miles per hour, moving unpredictably throughout the course. Testers required several attempts, 3 professional drivers, and a reduced speed of just 25 miles per hour before the vehicle could barely complete the maneuver. Even then, the result was considered far from acceptable. Moderate body roll, limited front tire grip, constant understeer, and inconsistent electronic stability control combined to create a chaotic driving experience. For a car positioned as a premium German luxury vehicle, such results were both disappointing